What's going on? Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year to all, man. What's going on in the world? How you guys doing today, man? Tell me something, man. Did you go to a party for the New Year's? Did you guys stay home? Did you guys went to church? Leave it in the comments, guys. What did you do for the New Year's? New Year resolution? I know a lot of people is probably doing their New Year resolution on changing their life, picking up better skills, trying to move forward in the first quarter of the year. A lot of things are happening, and we need to emphasize on that and put forth the wisdom and knowledge to get the results we look forward to getting. First off, just want to say welcome, guys, to Humanity Unplugged. I'm your host, Jermaine McCrimmon. And here at this podcast, we go over everything about life. We give you a different perspective on information. You could take it or leave it. It's there for you to dig up, do your own research, do your own homework. We'd like to thank all our followers, our listeners on all social media platforms that tune in with us twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. We give out information. Sometimes we do a lot of information on crimes, fluctuating prices on everything under the sun. We talk about our great president. We talk about life, community issues. We try to touch base on all levels to give you a better understanding on how to move every day. And today is Tuesday, January 6, 2026. And things are moving around so fast that you might miss it. And I want to try to keep you focused on what you need to look at. Things are happening, doors are opening or appear to be opening in the job market. Stay tuned. Look forward to that. Look into that. Stocks and stuff are going up. Things are moving around. And we have war on every hand. Today is our 101 episode, the first episode of the new year. We like to give honor to God who give us the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding to keep us focused, locked in, on point to what we need to know and how to move. For those of you who don't know, I'm just a New Yorker. Every now and then I get epiphany on different things and I speak out on it. You might not like it. It's okay. There's other things not to like and we still live on. So please don't let my opinion or my perspective stop you from moving forward and gaining what you need to achieve out of life. But if so, that my opinion or what I say might touch your life or touch you, please leave a comment, negative or positive. It doesn't bother me. I just like the interaction. I love to talk to people that have an open mindset. So today's topic, as we hit the 350 mark in our podcast, will be Trumpy Trump and his new war. A new year comes a new war. And you will see on all platforms, it will say Happy New War. Because this war that we're seeing ourselves in, if it's for the right reasons, which statistics will prove over time if it is or not, I will definitely back up if its statistics are the truth that Venezuela runs 97% of the drug cartel movements on the water. And if that is true and you take care of Venezuela, then you stop a lot of the drug cartel movement on the water. Now, you don't stop all of it, of course, because the world is big. People are creative, and people will find a way to do whatever they really want to do. You have known, if you look at history, people have built homemade submarines to move anything they want to move in the water. Now, as we look over this, we look at the president over there in Venezuela. Nicolás Maduro. Uh, I don't know the man. I don't know his wife. I don't know his family. I only can say he's a man that's stuck in a hard place, a rock in a hard place. Y'all know the saying. If, in fact, he works with the cartel, allegedly, if that's a factor, he's in a tough situation. If, in fact, he is eating off both sides, he's in a rough place. And United States have no mercy. They took him and his wife. And this is something they did about 3 days ago, maybe today we getting, what we getting. But I would say this was all taking place about 3 days ago. And I want to rewind on the capture of Nicolás Maduro. I want to talk about execution and the United States military. The United States military was flawless in the execution of capturing Nicolás Maduro. I believe that this could have turned out way worse than what it did. No casualties of war, no machinery or any of United States machinery was damaged, no harm, no foul. United States knew where he was. They knew how to obtain him. They conform they call them their conformants. I'm sorry, their conformants there who confirmed where he was. It was accurate. They were in and out before the blink of an eye. No harm done, allegedly. And I say that because that's my word. I love that word, because we don't know the underlying factors. Today, I will show you a few underlying factors that might give you a better understanding of what to come in our near future. I'm happy that our American soldiers did not perish, nor did they receive any harm going over there. Because when you go in the next man's backyard, sometimes there's a lot of traps, aka Iraq, aka Saddam Hussein, Taliban. You go in the backyards and have war, there's a lot of extra casualties because no one knows your backyard like you. God forbid someone break into your house right now, for instance. No one knows your house better than you. If you hear a squeak in the wood, you know precisely where they're at in your house. You know exactly where they're at, and you probably know, if you're down to the science of it, what foot they use to make that squeak, because you have people that are technically sound on their environment. So we want to go into the different layers of this, but I want to give my props, first of all, to the American people who set forth the execution of capturing the president of Venezuela. Now, in capturing him, of course, you have salt and you have pepper. You have people that agreed with him being captured, and you have some Venezuela people that were against that. Uh, the newly elected president that is there is a female, and she says she take over with great pain because she believed that Nicholas and his wife were kidnapped. And I do understand that perspective. However, uh, we don't know how far and how deep corruption goes. And United States did what they believe they had to do, plain and simple. Um, when we look at this, we must understand that this is something that is an ongoing problem. Drugs have been around since the 60s. Opium, 60s, 70s, go all the way up, shipped in the government, shipped over to Harlem, shipped all over the world to destroy communities, to upset and to distract people from accomplishing their goals, to get them so high that they can lose their faith and lose their perspective on life, stare into the sky, and be going in circles while life pass you by. Drugs will do that to you. And all of a sudden, you're strung out for 20 years and you have nothing to show for it. Addiction is one of the biggest problems in the world today. So, America, ever since Trump was elected, said he wanted to put a stop to the drug game. He wanted to enforce his willpower on countries, continents, America itself, on what it is to have power and what to do with the power in the right hands. Some of you may disagree with what Trump has done so far. By God, Trump has shut down DEI and a lot of different programs, cut out federal agency funding, shut down and destroyed many government jobs. Only time will tell what America recover, but people voted him in as their presidency. And yes, I might say that you might not have a lot of different choices at the time. You didn't have a great selection on who to vote for, but nevertheless, he's in. If I recall right, 6 million or 7 million people didn't even vote. So you got what you got. And it is, as they say, what it is. So now we have to brace ourselves for what is to come with Trump being our president. So I do appreciate no lives lost in this war so far. I do appreciate that Venezuela is now under somewhat of a new regime. I understand that. Now Nicolás Maduro and his wife is now in United States. They're now in New York City. They already been arraigned, which is so fast, and they'll go back to court in March of 2026, allegedly. So we have to look into that and see what happens with that. But they pleaded not guilty. And that's their God-given right to come to the court and give in their perspective on what they believe is going on. And their perspective is not guilty. And we will see if they be proven guilty and what will happen to them. Now, on the other hand, I want to flip the page and give you some factors that maybe you didn't look at. I told you we're going to talk about some things, and I find great pleasure in giving you information. Some of you might think that the information I give you is bogus. It's okay. I'm going to drink a little coffee. Some of you, may think that the information I give you is my perspective. It's okay. But I do give you information for you to check into, do your homework, and just see what's going on. All right. So one of the first factors I want to give you guys is, I don't know if you know, but Venezuela have an army as well. They have sonar, radar, they have missiles, they have jets. They have a lot of different things. Do anyone know where they got all their military equipment from? A large percentage of their military equipment. Do you know who supplied them with the missiles, the radars, the jets, different things that they have come across? Do you know who they struck a deal with? I'll wait a few seconds and allow you to imagine, take out your thinking cap and put on that cap. Dig deep before you leap. But What I'm about to tell you could be very shocking. I want to tell you back in 2000 that China signed a deal with Venezuela. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You guys might have heard or listening to this podcast, hear my voice fluctuate and elevate, and excitement has come in the air because I love information. So, China signed a deal with Venezuela back in 2000 called Loan for Oil Deal. That means we give you, you give us. We give you, you give us. Well, you know, China is big on oil and they love oil. And since China like doing business, they did business with Venezuela and still doing business with Venezuela to this day. And they trade off oil for different things. Well, do you know between Venezuela and Asia, they supply China with all their oil? Yes, they do. A large amount of oil comes from Venezuela and it goes to China. Do you know what Venezuela get back in return? I'll tell you. Military equipment. So they get radars from them. They get missiles from them. And the HQ-9 missile system is from them. They have the JY-27A radar from them. And they have a lot of other things that they get from China. So, as you see, I mentioned something at the very beginning. I said I was very surprised and I'm very happy, though, that this capture of Nicolás Maduro came with no harm. Well, I want you to know that Nicolás made a few statements prior, and he threatened the United States that if you guys came on his land, he's going to have a war. That's why everyone suggested that we would have war if Trump went over to Venezuela and messed with their president. However, they did it seamless, no issues, no bombs, nothing major. Went over there, took care of business, they're out. Now, prior to that, of course, we know that Trump ordered some missiles, some bombs to be deployed, destroying some of Venezuela ships that may have had drugs in it, may have touched ground on the land and destroyed some homes. It might have a few casualties. That's neither here nor there. War brings on casualties of war. When you fire missiles, they land somewhere. It's all a part of life. So, to this time, allegedly, some deaths may have occurred throughout a month ago or so when he first started dropping bombs and moving in position. Things have taken place and people have lost some family members. This is what happens. But when he went out on to capture, the order was given to capture Nicolás Maduro. No bombs were released, no casualties of war, nothing happened. So now, let's talk about this. Do you believe that Venezuela is upset with China? I'll wait. It is possible, it is highly probable that Venezuela is heated with China because they bought all this equipment. They're in a contract with them since 2000. Loan for oil deal. You give us oil, we give you military equipment. And none of their military equipment worked against the United States to prevent their president from being captured. Now, that is one way to look at it. And perhaps that is the only way to look at it. Or maybe Nicolás wanted to be captured. Maybe he didn't want anyone else to get hurt. Maybe he didn't want anyone else to get captured. Maybe he didn't want his Venezuela people to go under scrutiny of missiles upon missiles upon missiles, killing more people or maybe harming the land. He decided to say, I lived my life graciously. I did what I had to do. I'm going to go out, take me, spare my people. Honorable stuff. Now, we don't know. It's neither here nor there, still early. But for sure, we know that. We also know that China signed a weapon deal after the United States imposed an arm embargo, which simply means they let it known that you can have weapons wherever you want to have weapons. You can trade with whoever you want to trade. That's cool. And that's what Venezuela did. So now the big picture unfolds. And this is a big picture that some of you guys doesn't have in your lens. And maybe I can bring it to your lens and you can move forward and understand. Why is China telling the United States now that they should let President Nicolás Maduro go? Release him. You kidnapped him for no reason. Let him go. Well, I'll tell you why, because I just told you why. That's their money. Do you know that Venezuela and China have done business under the laws of doing business, and China has made $4.8 billion off in Venezuela? $4.8 billion off in Venezuela. That's a lot of money for Venezuela to do business with one person. And we ain't talking about just oil trades. We talking about money. 4.8 billion with China. China looks at Venezuela as a very good resource of oil. So they don't want their resource to be diminished, to go away. So of course, this causes a problem with China. Do you think China going to bark too much with United States about this? Because China don't want a problem with us, just like we don't want a problem with China. So we're going to have to look at this with sensitive eyes. And we're going to have to see what's going to go forward from this, because when you look at this, there's something other than a peace treaty between China and Venezuela is going on in the deal. Do you think maybe China and Venezuela had a deal on drugs too? That's a question. Was it just oil? That's a question. Maybe China was the middleman for Russia. That's a question. Who knows? So we got to look deeper into this, and we will. But so far, all's well is well. People are not talking about anyone getting hurt because no one did. They all talking about how flawless the military was on the United States stand. But people in China and people in Venezuela are mad that maybe they were too flawless and we didn't have war like they wanted to. So now China and Venezuela are talking because they're saying, how come none of this stuff we bought for you worked, and why we wasn't prepared for the United States to come over here and we went to war for, we just let our president go untouched. Let me ask y'all a big question. Could that have happened to the United States? Could you have just come over to the United States and kidnapped President Trump without them being a problem, without it being a problem? That's the question. Could you go to any country, anywhere on the night in America, and kidnap their president without a fight? That's our closing act. That's our conclusion, guys. That's the $1 million question. What country can you go to right now and kidnap their president without there being a problem? I'm your host, Jermaine McCrimmon. This is Humanity Unplugged. Happy New Year to you. Happy New War to you. And please, guys, stay conscious or you're a sucker for anything. Peace.